You got on home, didn't you?
Quick.
All right, so we on myths, guys. Grief, myths, okay? So myth 1, there is a right way to grieve.
False.
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 Reality, some people cry, some people scream, some want to be alone, while others seek out social connection. Responses to grief vary widely from culture to culture and person to person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you said false. Why? What was your reason for saying false?
Because I don't think there's a right way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people grieve in their own way. Like I saw a case. I study a lot of different, cases that'll happen. Trying to prepare myself mentally for what I'm gonna deal with the trial.
Right.
And there was a guy. He kicked over the headstone, and it was his form of release. And the therapist said that he was grieving. I thought it was crazy. I wouldn't do it,
Right.
but that was his way of grieving. I don't think there's a right way. Was it wrong to do that? 100%.
Right.
But that was his way of grieving.
Right.
So I don't think that there's a set way. You can't
Right,
tell
right,
somebody how to grieve. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't believe in that. I believe that people deal with it like it says in their own way. Some people want to be alone. I think I'm one of those people. I'd rather be alone.
Correct.
Right.
I isolate myself. I'm just like, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
She more like, I gotta be.
I gotta be busy. I gotta be moving
If I
around.
see her, I'm gonna go crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she
Right,
like,
right.
I just need to go, and I'm like, okay, what we're gonna do? Which has helped me being that way sometimes. But when I do feel overwhelmed, I'm just like, all right, let me just get to myself. Let me
Right.
just think.
Right.
So yeah, I really truly don't think that there's a right way. I think that there's grief, and
Right.
it comes out in different forms.
Right. Myth number 2, only the loss of a loved one causes grief.
False. False.
False.
Mom, what were you saying earlier?
You better say it.
Go ahead,
I'm
Mom.
gonna let her
She
say
was
it.
saying something
Well.
interesting, Miss Harris. Let's see what she
This
said.
is Miss Stephanie.
Go ahead, Mom.
What I was saying is, okay, so I have been divorced from his father for 20 years? And my kids always tell me, just stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it. But the anger is still there.
Mhm.
I still think about what happened. I think about stuff.
And you want to whip his ass.
We
And there's nothing wrong with that.
don't kind of over that part of it.
Right.
Over that part of it, but I'm not over the hurt. I mean,
Right.
when you love somebody
Right.
and
Right.
things happen that you don't want to happen, I'm over it, but the hurt is still there.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm grieving, but it's a form of grief.
100%.
Sure is.
Right.
And
Because I lost somebody that I loved and I wasn't done loving that person.
Right.
So that was a form of grief. So,
And I want to
100%.
share something personal, if you don't mind me sharing about our separation, about the grief. And you're right. He and I, unfortunately, during the grief,
Right.
we'd separated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was grieving. I thought I'd lost him forever.
Right.
And I was grieving him while grieving my daughter.
It's too much.
Yeah. And
That's a lot.
yeah. And I don't think I've ever told him that.
It
I'm
is.
just
you
not
did.
I'm telling him that.
Oh,
okay.
you did.
Oh, I did. I know. But yeah, there's
But-
a lot. Yeah.
And it's not that I'm pining for him. You're still married, so there's a difference. But it's
Right,
not
right,
that I'm still pining for him.
But the
See,
hurt
I
still
give,
remains.
I give her.
Hell.
No, and
I'll give it-
I'm gonna back him up in a slight way, but I'm gonna back you up when he done.
And what happens is, I want her to
Be happy.
be happy.
There you
I
go.
want her to move. I think, and it's not like get over it, because it's been years of me supporting and me just us just talking about it, processing it, woo. But I just want it to get to a point to where she is released from that.
Free from it,
And free from it, where she could focus on something greater and something better.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
That's the thing.
A new life.
I do. I have several friends. I'm not.
See, my
Male
mama said-
friends.
All
Do
right.
you have male
So,
friends?
And here she cut him like she cut him so
I
fast.
just don't play. When you go through so much
Right.
for
Right.
so long,
so much shit.
Right.
yes,
Right.
you just
I
have
can
a
cuss on
low
this, man.
tolerance.
Definitely not
Red
good.
flag.
I was gonna say we edited that.
My
No, you
tolerance
good.
is freaking low.
There you
I
go.
can talk to
Right.
you one day and I know it ain't.
No, we ain't
it
going nowhere.
happening.
Right.
So I agree with you. But my mom is in that place because my dad, like, you know, he left us. We had it all before he made his mistake, and you know, he passed away, and I think she dealt with not only him leaving her, but like the grief of him passing away. She never got over him.
Right.
You know, she just like recently, I think like 2 years, maybe not even 2 years ago, cut the ring off. And the only reason she cut it off because she got diabetes now and her hands started swelling.
Swelling.
She wasn't gonna cut the ring off. And I'm like, Mama, you know, she got a friend. And I'm like, what's the deal? Introduced me to him, but like, it's like they go, you know, he don't come to family get together.
Yeah.
Like, but I know who he is. You know,
Yeah.
he called me, wish me luck on fights, but I ain't know like he trying to, you know. And I think my mother has created this environment of, like you said, she not fully free from what happened with my daddy, so she almost still feel obligated to him. I don't even think she fully divorced him, to be honest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I think she just still holding on to that. So I think she's grieving.
They never divorced.
They never divorced.
They
So
never
I
divorced.
think
Oh, really?
she's grieving.
They were just separated for
Yeah.
for
Forever.
years and
Right.
years.
You know what I'm
and
saying? 'Cause
years until he passed away.
He got strung out. You know, he made some bad life choices, and he came back, got it right, and at very, very end, like toward the end of his life. I was in high school, and I at the time couldn't process it. I was grieving over. I'm still hurt by not having a dad. You know, I overcompensate now for my kids because of it.
Right.
You know, but I think my mom's still grieving. You know, in that way because he ended up passing away.
Wow.
And
they
they
never addressed
she-
what was going on.
Well, I think she addressed it, but she wanted me to address it.
Okay. Right,
And I did. I did. It was hard.
Right.
I told him I hated him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to let it out. He was laying on his deathbed damn near, and I told him. But I said, you know what? I forgive you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. And then how was that?
That
for
was
you,
a
for
relief.
you?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
therapeutic.
right,
It helped
right,
me out a lot. We had a great relationship before he actually passed away.
Right.
But, you know, I think my mama in that place.
And I
Right,
think
right.
had I had like one, I'm sorry.
Right.
That's all I wanted.
Acknowledgement.
I'm sorry because I was a good woman to him. I was a good wife.
Right.
I was a good mother.
Is he still living?
Yeah.
I thought about it many times.
Yeah, he's still living.
But
Oh
you know
my
what?
God.
You know
Well,
what?
come on.
I want to say that before relationships, I want to say something about these other things you agree. But I want to say something to that because I was married before, and for you to let go of something, you have to be. Sometimes it takes you being the bigger person. You know what? No matter if he tells you he's sorry or not, release it from you and say, I forgive you, even if you don't tell me you're
Right.
sorry. And it really, because I did that to my ex-husband. I said, I forgive you because I needed that off of me.
Right.
And from
Yeah.
that day forward, I was free.
And so you can do the same thing.
But
Call him.
but the thing is, we've been in close proximity. We always got along until, you know,
Yeah, it's very
it's
interesting and
complicated.
we need a
different
whole
show, whole
different
different
session
show.
Yeah.
for that. And now that I know, what you said, then you can, we can get together and talk about,
That's
and
a
have another
different
part to
show.
that because that's
Yeah.
that's a big thing too.
But yeah,
Because I'm interested from a standpoint of, when I came into her life, Elijah and I were 3 and 4, but I was always, like I said, I dealt with trauma from my own daddy. So
Right.
I never told her they can't be around him. Even though I was doing everything, I always wanted him to be in their life. I always
Right.
had that olive branch extended to him. So I'm interested to know how you deal with, like, your relationship with your daddy, knowing what you know now that you're older.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know my son he always loved me and respect me, but I want to see kind of how he view, because his dad is still in his life.
Right.
But
I
he
think-
wasn't there. But he wasn't there.
But what I
Walt
think
was there, and he did acknowledge that. He told
100%.
because he wasn't there in their younger.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
Walt
think
raised them.
what I did was it was hard, but there was part of me that was like, you know what, he'll see it for himself one day.
And
And
they
now-
will.
Right.
Now he
Facts.
sees it.
Facts.
Now he sees
Facts.
it. He's 24.
It's-
He like,
look.
oh, I
Yeah.
I thought
see.
you
Yeah.
talking about Ned acknowledging the fact.
Well,
that she
Ned
raised his
acknowledged it.
kid.
That was cool.
He
That was
acknowledged
cool.
it. He said, "I want to thank
It
you."
took
for
for-
Well, now that, yeah,
But it
yeah.
That
took for
is
something to
true.
happen, like losing Aniah, for him to come to me.
Right.
And say that.
Exactly.
Which I took it. But you got to understand, like, I took it with a grain of salt in that moment because it was a lot. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Because
right,
there was a lot going on
But
around
listen,
that time.
listen,
So
man.
it was like, are you just...
Are you genuine?
Are you
Right,
being
right.
genuine right now? So, but with my son, I think now I see and I can hear in his voice, I can see in how he carries himself and how he handles himself based on the stuff I taught him. You know what I'm saying? I think he see now, he like, dang, Pop, because he called me Pops. He's like, Pops was there. I understand what he was trying to do and what he went through and what he going through. You know what I'm saying?
I did not know until my children grew up the things that they heard, the things that they saw, the things that they realized. And I tell people all the time, be careful what you do because your children will grow up and they have memories.
Facts.
Blew me away. This boy told me something like,
She sound like, I tell that. Listen, she on the road now. She on the road.
Let it out, though. Let it out.
he told me one day, a few years ago, I don't know if you remember, you said, you want me to
Go
say
ahead,
it?
Mom.
he said that I said one day, I can't believe he left me with these small kids.
You said I said that?
Yeah.
I did. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
I do not remember saying it.
Yeah, you definitely said it. And see, you know, like you said, this is a different session. We keep saying that.
Yeah,
but,
it's
man,
different.
I
I don't know how we got on this, but
man,
yeah.
you know, I watched her a lot, you know, what we were going through, you know, and I watched it when she didn't know I was watching her, you know, even when she was crying, you know, and trying to figure out, you know, I'm assuming she was trying to figure out what our next meal going to be or how I'm going to get these bills paid and they need a spirit pad for football, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, and she would spend the bill money on us, you know, and when I figured that out, you know, I give her a check when I can. When I worked at Food World for a minute, I got paid with $100 a week. You know what I'm saying? You know, but
I had to just I had to always keep 2 jobs.
My mama did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, man, y'all, you need to meet my mama. Like, for real, because that's what, like, I think that's ultimately what all of this is about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's about connections. It's about, you know, being able to rely on other people than just yourself. Correct. I've learned that through this journey. Right. You know, when it first happened, the worst thing was the pandemic because it was just us and we were just stewing. Right. And it was terrible. It was so hard at that time. But when I was able to move around and I was able to talk to people, I realized you're not alone. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not alone in this because your story sounds just like my story. I watched my mama go work 2 jobs. I watch her come home late at night crying and, you know, that's why she used to always tell me, when you get older, you'll understand. When you have your own kids, you'll understand. Right. Ooh, I heard that. Bro, I'm telling you, I call her to this day. My son will do something, and I'll be like, Mama. She'll be like, now you see what I was going through. You know what I'm saying?
And then she'll, you know, and then what's funny about her, she's so sweet and modest. I ain't gonna say sweet all the time. I'm gonna tell the Harris is what you did a long time ago.
Dang, what did I do?
I'm gonna tell him when you scratch up my face. But anyway.
Oh, whatever.
You probably deserved it.
He did his thing.
I got a story.
He balled his fist up like.
We got to come back.
Mama,
You hit me one more time.
So can I call your mama?
Yeah.
So mama, I did this. It's crazy. I think it's a thing when we hit this age, especially when you're dealing with a single mom. And I did the same exact thing. But you know what? Shut all that down.
What?
She called her brother, my uncle, who I adore.
Right.
I look up to him with everything in me. And he came to our house. And I was excited to see him. I didn't know what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I come out. I said, "What's up, Uncle?"
He came with that
and
belt.
He had the strongest, most aggressive. He never gotten mad at me. Okay. And I seen it in his face, and I knew right away what it was. And before I could even say I'm sorry, he had picked me up,
jacked you up,
and was slamming me off the side of the house. If you ever bucking my sister again, and from that day on, me and my mama was like this. I'm not even joking. Like, you know, it was that, and then she came to me when our relationship changed, because I blamed her a lot for my dad. I didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand why we struggled. I remember us having a great life till I was 6.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
I
what the hell is
Six
going on?
Flags and Whitewater.
Like everything you want for Christmas. Kids used to come to my house to hang out. Right. Now I'm like, I don't got nothing. We need to, you know.
Yeah.
I blamed her. But I got old enough to realize, okay, it wasn't her fault.
Right.
You know, she had whatever going on with dad, blah blah. And now I realize she did the right thing by us.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like it take a process. It's a process.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
You
But
have
do
to
you
learn,
understand with everything with that is the same thing when it comes down with what you're dealing with Aniah, because it's giving you a better understanding that people are watching you whether or not you know it or
Yeah.
not. And then when you have kids in your household and they understanding in their own right what is happening, and they're understanding that mama's going through this right now and daddy's going through this right now. So you're showing an example of when it comes to certain things, when it comes to relationships, because the relationships are relationships.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's between a wife and a husband. Doesn't matter if it's between friends or whatever. A relationship's a relationship.
You're right.
So when there's communications, when there's rapport, when that's the bonding, that's a relationship.
Right.
Now, just like with grief, relationships the same way. Each one deals with it in their own way. And with you having children at the house, and then with a 24-year-old, he's still watching you.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
And so then with
Yeah.
the younger ones,
We have a 17-year-old and a 10-year-old too that are,
so see, they're watching.
We got them all over the spectrum.
and they're grieving, and their
was
grief
just
is
about to
different.
say,
Right.
that's
And their
it.
grief
They
is different
are
for
different.
their age group.
Right.
Right.
That's been the
Yeah.
challenge too. Is like trying to understand how to recognize their grief.
See?
You know, they're younger, so like it comes out in different forms.
Right.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to be more cognizant now, especially of like when they need moments. Like with
Right.
my 10-year-old, she's like, if she was in here and you put a picture of Aniah up, that was Aniah at 10.
Okay,
Exactly
okay.
what she looked like.
Okay.
They look just alike. Like she sounds like Aniah.
Right.
Like it's to the point she'll say Aniah's she'll call her and call her
Aniah all the
Aniah.
time.
Right.
Like they
Right
are
here?
so that like they like spitting images of each other. But her grief is coming out in different ways. You know, she like I get calls from the school sometimes. You know, she had a breakdown. She was talking about her sister.
Yeah.
You know, where with my 16-year-old, his grief is more like me. He isolate. He want to be alone. You know, he's a great kid, but I'm like, I want you to go out and like
Don't
have friends.
isolate. Don't sit idle.
You know,
Yeah.
Don't sit idle. You know, like
He has shut down. He has quit.
shut
He's
down.
quit
He
basketball.
quit playing ball.
He don't hang out with his friends.
Like
Basketball.
he rarely hang out with his friends, but I think that's probably for the better because some
Okay.
of those guys
He didn't need to hang out with. Okay.
Okay.
Because I was about to say,
Okay.
okay,
like they all
but
were doing
Yeah.
their thing, and then some of them went this way.
Yeah, yeah,
Some of
yeah.
them went this way, and he chose to go the right way. And
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Keep it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
you
mean,
know,
I mean,
I ain't gonna force you to be out there. If
Yeah.
you know, I went to Homewood. I know what it looked like over there
There you
at
go.
this age. So if you want to be home, let's be home, but let's be home productively.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm
right.
at with him. So he going to the gym now with me.
That's good.
You know, doing things like that. You know, and I'm like, you know, start focusing on college. You know,
Yeah.
let's get your mind
I
wrapped
was-
around what life going.
that's right. I was just about to say,
11th grade.
Yeah.
11th grade.
He'll be a senior
tell them
next
what to
year.
expect in life. That's right. Keep them
I-
focused.
100%.
Move. I mean, those. I'll say the kids that he was hanging out with, it could be for the better. You know, it was a good thing. You need to go in and you need to think about. You know, come to yourself. Now it's time to get back out.
Right.
You know.
And that's what we
help.
are. And he getting there. Like I just talked to him. I took him up by Ace, little hardware store by house. He got some friends that work there. And I'm like, son, you need to get a little job over
Oh
here.
yeah,
The guy-
definitely.
you know,
At Ace
right,
Hardware.
I'm like, you know, it's
Yeah.
a cool little job. You're not working yourself to death.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
Dad, I'm gonna do that. So
And in the process,
you
he learning everything that they have to provide that's gonna take him to the next step.
know what the
Right.
motivator was.
Hey.
He said he gonna get some money. He
He gonna be a home improvement. He gonna
Somebody
buy
drive. I'm
that.
trying to drive. He driving, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, not really. Technically, we ain't letting him drive, but
Okay.
I bet he taking a car. I'm just kidding.
Don't tell him that, man.
no, I was doing that. I wrecked my mama car at 14. Totaled it. We ain't talk. That's a whole nother show.
I got you. I got
But
you.
yeah,
Myth. So myth number 3,
Yeah.
guys. Myth number 3.
go.
What you got, babe? I'm
I ain't
sorry.
got nothing.
Okay. Avoid bringing up someone's grief.
Nah.
You should avoid bringing up someone's grief. This is the myth. Like, so should you avoid bringing up
I would
is it
think it's a
individualized?
myth. I would think you should not really. It's a way that you bring it up.
Correct.
You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
right.
I mean, if I'm checking on your mental state to see where you are and to make sure that you're good.
There you go.
And you're not, just falling in a hole. I've learned to bring people out the hole and not fall in the hole with them. That's called empathy.
Yeah.
I've learned empathy.
And see, I appreciate that.
Oh.
I appreciate it because see, when I found out that I had myasthenia gravis, people were saying, "Well, I can sympathize with you," but then it hit me.
No, you can't.
I hate the word sympathy because
Yeah.
I think it means you really don't give a happy goddamn.
There you
Right,
go.
So
right.
you're trying to ease your conscience on me.
Right.
That's right.
So I appreciate you
Yeah.
for using the word empathy.
Empathy, because people need to learn the difference between empathy, sympathy, and apathy. You better tell them. Yeah. I mean, but we in a culture, I'll say we have. It's apathy. I was raised with apathy. Oh well, get over it. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But that's not the way to be.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Huh,
She- I
and
tell her all the time,
I'm
you can be a
learning.
counselor.
I was
cannot
married.
be-
I am a life coach.
She's a
you
life
get what
coach.
I'm saying?
I she's
give
more
great
like a life
advice, but sometimes it doesn't come off how it needs to be or what I intended it. I intend empathy, but it would be apathy. But when I
It's-
got with him and married him, I'm learning.
You're learning. Yeah. You're learning.
Look, man, it's just.
And I have learned.
She's direct, but raw, extremely raw.
Right.
That's how you
It
have to
depends
be.
on
But
what
see, I appreciate raw.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd rather you tell me the truth.
And people
Correct.
do.
Yes.
But it's the way that you tell the truth.
Correct.
You can't just rip off the Band-Aid or snatch
That-
off the
I
wax.
might need to learn that then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't do it like that.
Sometimes
And
I just be like, man, you know what?
Delivery, man.
Delivery
Delivery is
I
everything.
do think, and I'm going to be honest, I do think there's a little bit more empathy.
Empathy.
Yeah. But I don't blame you for that. I think it's just some of the things that you went through, in your life. You know,
And how you were raised.
My
It
mom
comes from
kinda-
how we were
but
raised.
My
to
mom
be
was
honest.
like that. Like
Man.
it was just me, my mom, and my sister. So it was like I had to be the man of the house. I had to understand like this how you get it, how you live.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I understood that from a
Yeah.
young age. Like this is what it is.
And this is
And
how it's gonna be, and this is how you're
until
gonna.
you decide to change it, until you do something different. And I was like, all right, bet. And it took for me, till I was like 14. My mama, I'll never forget. She sat me down one day because I was, screwing around in school. I was a class clown at Homewood.
Right,
That
right,
gives you
right,
some
right.
perspective of like who.
Yeah.
I was a jokester. Thought I was,
Yeah, acting a fool.
Right,
you couldn't tell
right.
me nothing. My mama sat me down one day. She was like, son, you know what? And she was crying and I like bawling. And she was like, son, I can't afford to send you to college. She said, so you're going to have to either get it in that classroom or you're going to have to get a scholarship.
Right.
You love basketball, so make it your life.
Right.
And it just woke me up. I turned into an animal after that because I saw how bad I was hurting my mom.
Yeah.
But it also just that mentality of having to get it out the mud. That's how I've been getting it.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
I was on my own from 17.
That's right.
Yeah.
She put me out at 17 because I
Hey.
was just unruly.
Yeah.
She was like,
And you had to
can't
learn.
stay here.
Yeah,
So
you
I
gotta
had to-
go.
I had to get out there and get it. So I think that's where it come in with me and her. Like I'm like, look, I'm a black man in America. Ain't
I
nobody
got to-
giving me nothing.
I need to figure it
I
out.
gotta figure it out. I
Yeah.
always had to just go figure it out. I trial and error, make mistakes.
But that's how you learn.
But
though,
guess
man.
what? I'll say yes, trial and error is how some, but we can do research now too. And
we
figure it
had
out.
research.
Yeah.
Back then we didn't. We
I
had to
had to
figure
sit
it
down.
out.
We couldn't
You
research
wrote
nothing on the
it.
state
Yeah,
farm.
but you wrote it.
No,
You
can.
wrote it. So now
But you still can fail. It's like I
You
mean,
can-
you
and
know,
it's okay to
That's what
fail.
I'm saying. Whatever
That's
you
what we
try,
learn.
You take a leap.
Yeah.
Take a leap of
100%.
faith and do it.
But here's the thing. I think on that note, you need to fail with guidance.
There you
That
go.
Okay.
makes- that
Okay.
makes- I didn't
I like
have
that.
guidance.
Okay.
Like I had
I like
to
that.
fail
And constantly fail.
and constantly fail.
Right.
And have to my mama like beat me over the head with scripture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that didn't resonate because it's like
'Cause
it's-
you didn't
it's-
know. You
it's
still
like, it's
didn't-
my mama.
yeah.
It's like you just talk because you don't want me to have fun.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, no, son, I'm trying to help you.
Right,
Like she was
right.
telling me, like this about to happen. She literally would predict things that were gonna happen to me. Like she bought me a car at 16. She was like, you need to make sure you're checking your oil.
Yep.
You need to make sure you're checking your, all these things. But I was
right.
like, I'm in the streets.
That's
She
right.
was like, you gonna burn the motor up.
Yep.
Yeah,
And that's
And I'm coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And that's what you did.
That's it.
Boom, blow the motor up.
You remember that little car I told you I had and it blew up? The radio. The radio
Smoking.
Oh, my homeboy. Everybody just stood
Put some
there and touched that.
Look, put some antifreeze in the car.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. It was like a Fred Flintstone car. That's what it was back then. But yeah, man.
But I think people, like you're talking about asking people or talking about their grief. I think that if you don't say something, that you got to say something, and some people don't know what to say.
Correct.
They can say they can say some things that you're like, what in the world? Because when I lost Darian, it wasn't even 2 weeks after I lost Darian. My cousin was taking me to the doctor, back to the doctor to get checked, because I was in the accident as well. And there was a lady in the parking lot that said to me, "It's okay, you can have other kids."
I'm about to knock.
See,
Oh my God.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. Yep.
Oh.
Insensitive.
And I thought, and I was
Insensitive.
still, I was medicated, but my cousin who took me wasn't medicated.
I know that's right.
She went
Laura
off.
Lynn?
No, Jennifer.
Oh,
Shout out to Jennifer. Hey, shout out to Jennifer.
Shout out, Jen.
Shout out, Jen. What's
now,
up, Jen?
Jennifer didn't pounce on her, but Laura Lynn, my first, she would have pounced on her.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But she
Oh,
did,
don't
but
get
I was
Laura
like,
Lynn.
Yeah, but
That's
she,
my dog, though.
Yeah, yeah. They should have married.
Cut it out.
No, they love each other.
yeah.
No, that's my
And she's-
homie.
Yeah, that's great. But
Yeah.
but people sometimes don't know what to say because it's awkward. They don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
But that was totally wrong. But just say something to acknowledge it. Don't totally ignore it, because if you totally
Yeah, 'cause you
ignore
don't
it,
wanna
it just
feel like
feels
make it
Dismissive,
awkward.
like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It wasn't important.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Right.
But there's also a thing of like too much.
right.
It's a cap.
Yeah.
It's a limit on it.
It's a limit
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
And that's a part of our grieving process as well.
Yeah.
Understanding
Check
that, like,
in on me, make
it's
sure I'm
cool.
good.
Yeah.
You know,
See
some
what I
people
need.
just don't know what to say, so they oversay.
Right.
Yeah.
They overdo, and it's like, I don't need all that. You know, you making it worse, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You know what I'm
good.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I appreciate the sentiment. You know, I appreciate the thought, but you know,
So
I'm
what
in
we
a-
got for other people who don't know what to say and feeling a little antsy when they feel the need to say, just don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing.
Right.
Just
Just
don't say
just
nothing.
just
Give me a
enjoy
hug.
that
That's
company.
what I tell people. I tell people like, hey,
I just want to
just give me a hug.
Right.
This is my thing.
And
This
that
is my
was good.
favorite thing.
And that was good.
Yeah.
This is my
Yeah.
favorite thing. Do you need anything?
Right.
Yeah.
You need anything? I
I'm
mean,
here
just,
for you.
can I help you with anything, right?
And
Just
and the
being
crazy
there.
part about that is all it takes sometimes. Like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah,
you just want an apology.
Yeah.
I don't want nothing half the time.
Right,
Just
right,
let
right,
me know I'm
right.
here.
Right.
I'm dealing with people in our lives right now
Yeah.
that I've been telling them, like, I'm cutting off X, Y, and Z, because when you,
A,
you
B, and
see
C.
things clearly when you take a step, you know what I'm saying? The whole alphabet gone at this point. It's like a few people dangling on the edge.
Yeah.
When you going through it,
Yeah.
you
I
see
get it.
so clearly.
Yeah.
When you
Man.
at the top and everything's gravy,
Yeah, you
cloud it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we really had the
Ah.
opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this person was just because of this.
Had to shave some bad skin off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you lose a lot of
The
bad
clouds
weight.
moving.
You're like, man, and it bring us closer. It make our relationship
That's
better
right.
because you realize at the end of the day, all that's just a part
Yeah.
of this.
Right.
It's y'all
We
too.
forever. You
It's
know what I'm
y'all
saying?
too.
I
That's
got
it.
your back regardless.
That's
Right,
it.
You know what
right.
I'm saying? We don't need that. If that person's hurting you, don't be afraid to cut them off. You know, like
In a
I'm
heartbeat.
quick. I'm like, shit.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Your stream
Yeah.
about this long with me.
That's it.
Yeah. Very
I'm like,
short.
You know, because it just have to be that way. But it's you know,
And it's to protect yourself too.
yeah,
In a way,
100%, 100%.
Absolutely.
I just want somebody to be like, yeah, all right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't really want you to actually
just-
do nothing.
Just let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fact
You
that
just-
And just
care.
like when we met, just like I just want to hug you, and that meant everything. to me.
Everything.
I knew
Yeah.
what you meant just by
Just
saying,
by the hug, yeah.
right,
Exactly,
I just hug you, I just
exactly,
wanna-
yeah.
yeah. So
That's
Yeah,
really
man.
good. I really do.
Oh,
That's-
it's okay, it's okay.
I thought she was gone. Get us oh, we say something wrong.
so let me say this. How do you like what advice or inspirational, comment or statement you would give to parents specifically? When it comes to this type of situation.
Let me answer that. So what I normally do is to tell people, because I'm dealing with people every day that's losing children, left and right, or loved ones. I just kind of tell them there are no words that I can say, and I tell them that there are no words, but I can tell you that the love that you have for that loved one, remember that love, and remember that they want, first of all, they want to see you happy and live your life, but live for them, live through them. He even has a tattoo that says live through them. That was for his grandparents, but oh goodness, let me get my thought together. I had something else I was going to say.
You good.
I had something else I was going to say about that.
Let them be your shining star, though. Yes.
Yes, and oh gosh, I lost my train of thought.
It happens. It happens.
Because I know what I tell them, and I can't remember what I was gonna say. Jeez.
A phrase.
What you got, Walt?
What's the phrase you go by?
Okay, so the love, the love that you have for that person that you lost, it has to come out.
Right.
That love has to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. And however it comes out, it comes out. If it comes out of anger, because I'm in a crying fit, whatever it comes out. And that's okay. But just to say, live for them, live through them, and that's really what I've come to feel like that helps. Because I've had to learn too, what do I say to people? Because I know how it feels. I know how you feel.
Right.
But that's not enough for me to say. I know how you feel. Right. They need more.
Yeah. How can we get through this?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just remember being at the vigil Thursday for Phil, one of the seniors that was killed in Dadeville. His mom was there.
I saw you down.
Yeah. I told his sister and his mom, you're gonna live for him, let him live through you, and that made a big difference.
That's right.
So that's what I normally say to people.
Yeah, live for them and let them live through you. That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Because I can't help but to, honestly, I can't help but to think about my own child. Every time I pass through the hallway and pass your office, I just think about him. I think about his face, just him smiling at me, and I just couldn't imagine. I just don't know. I don't want to know what that feels like.
Right.
I just, honestly, I just get chill bumps.
Yeah,
you hear what I'm
terrifying.
Yeah.
It really is. It's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Right.
But what I've learned is that God gives the test to the strongest warriors.
That's right.
And there is a purpose in this.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I think also helps me keep going. Because, it's easy to give up. Right. It's easy to just be like, I'm going to drink myself to death.
Yeah.
I'm going to give up everything in the world.
I don't care.
And the crazy part about it is people wouldn't even bat an eyelash. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to learn who was in my life that wouldn't bat an eyelash. That wouldn't like, hey, man, you need to get it together.
You need to get it together.
And did it shock you?
Acting up.
And did it shock you when you figured out who it was?
Man.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's almost scary.
It is terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's sobering.
That's right.
Yeah. It's sobering. It's like, man, that's crazy that like you would have let me just walk right
into the.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, it's just one of them things. Like she said, that's always been a phrase in my life. It's lived through me. Like my grandparents were very influential in my life.
Yeah.
Because my mama was a single parent. I lived with them. I spent so much time with them.
Right.
So I think that is what I would tell people as well. Like, let that person's light shine through you.
Right.
As hard as it may be, I don't want to say, I don't know if that's the right word, but there's a responsibility if you love that person like you say you love them,
right,
to not spread poison.
Wow,
that's
you
right.
know what I mean? Like I could easily be a negative person,
it's
and
so
nobody
easy.
would be upset about.
Yeah,
it.
it's so easy to be
negative.
negative.
It's so easy. They would
It's so
expect
easy
that.
to be
especially
negative.
in this day and age.
That's
Like,
right.
People are,
Let's try to
and
be
it's
positive.
crazy. People looking for me to be that
Negative.
way.
They want it.
It blow their mind when I
you
hit them
not?
with something different.
Right,
Or
right,
I'm
right,
being
right.
positive.
Yes,
I
sir.
get that message so
Yes,
much
sir.
on my Instagram. Man, I can't understand. Like, it's amazing to see how positive you are and how you still smile. It's not easy.
Right.
You don't see the when
I'm
the
motivating
when the
you
lights
and me.
go off and it's
Right.
me and her laying in bed. You don't see the pain I'm in.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm not gonna spew that to the world because I feel like that don't do nobody no good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather try to fight, and that's what it is. We finishing her fight.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what. That's our motto.
That's our motto.
Because we
Like,
know she
finishing
was
her fight.
fighting,
Finish her
and
fight.
unfortunately, she did not.
She didn't win her
win
fight,
that fight that
but she
night.
fought
But
like
she ain't
hell.
lose.
But
She's
she
winning
winning
now.
now.
She winning.
And yeah,
And so-
I can tell you that
You know,
definitely.
that's just my thing. It's just keep fighting. Like it's so easy to give up. You know, like it's hard. You know, to see. Oh man, I lost my X, Y, and Z or my significant other. The
You don't
world expects you to fall into this mold.
Thank you.
And lose
And there's
yourself.
power in not. I found power in not being what they expect.
Now you
Yeah,
preaching.
that's
Now you
right.
preaching.
And I've always been that way. I've always been I go to
Opposite,
when they go
you
right,
go
I
there.
go left.
Right.
So that's just my mindset, and I try to like spread that to my wife,
That's
to my
right.
kids, in anything we doing in life. You know, don't always just feel like you gotta fit this mold.
Correct.
Right.
When I came into the UFC, they thought I was gonna fit a mold.
Right.
I'm
Dare to be
black,
different.
athletic. I'm probably hood. I'm a single parent. I played basketball. There were all these stereotypes placed upon me.
Right.
But I was they were blown away when I got behind the mic. They're like,
Right.
wow, who trained you media? My aunt and my mama. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's right.
I was raised right.
That's right.
I'm sorry, you expect me to be one way.
Correct.
But nah, I ain't gonna. I'm not. No.
Right,
Nah,
right,
I can't get ratchet.
Oh man, hey, tell them something, man.
That card is still in there, but I'm not gonna present that to the world all the time.
Right. We prefer to keep that up on the shelf,
Yeah,
man.
that's
Hard
only
time.
special occasions.
Yeah.
And I
Certain
can
people get to
say,
see that.
yeah.
I'm gonna go back to because I've lost 2 children, so I'm gonna go back to say the grief is different for each child.
Now that's
It's
interesting.
right.
That's
It is
different.
interesting because Darian and I were in a very traumatic car accident. Darian was almost 3. I did shut down. I did blame God. I did do a lot of things different when I lost Darian. I grieved over Darian for 3 years before I even wanted to go to the grocery store. I had Elijah. Got pregnant with him 9 months after I lost Darian. Still grief. Oh my, grief was terrible. Got pregnant with Aniah. Grieving, just grief was still terrible. And finally, one day I said, "You have got to get yourself together for these babies." And I did. That's when I started going to nursing school. But the grief is different. So the grief now with Aniah is different because there's a different type of fight. I learned though not to blame God. It took me a while not to blame God for what happened to Darian. But then when we lost Aniah, I had to go straight to Pastor Mike at Faith Chapel, and I said, "You got to tell him I don't understand this. You got to tell me
And at
you
this
gotta
point,
tell
I
me
was on the
why
same.
this
And I've
happened."
been in
You
the
need
church
to
my
seek
whole life.
understanding as well.
I was going
I
to
was
ask
like,
you,
and
like,
that's it.
how,
That's the main thing.
how many times has the question ran across your mind? You know, not once but twice, but you know, what have I done? Or
Right. And yeah,
All the time.
exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And that's a good point. I would say this to a person dealing with, you know, our type of grief or the loss of a loved. Don't blame yourself because I did that for a long time.
And that's the easiest thing to do.
It's so
Yeah.
easy
Yeah,
to
it's-
just be
yeah.
like, what if? You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yeah.
And I did that. Like, I was in that boat. I never thought in my life I would be angry at God and cussing at God.
Yeah.
And my mama and my pastor helped me understand you are okay. He not mad at you, but you need to understand he didn't do this.
The devil is real.
The devil is a real thing.
Yes.
Like, and I ain't trying to get all preachy with it,
Right,
but
right,
it's
right.
real. You know what I mean? It just there's always 2 sides to every coin. There's
That's
a good
right.
and there's a bad. That's the way everything works. So some got to be behind that. That ain't just a thought. That ain't men didn't just come up with that.
Right. Yeah.
That was because if you read your Bible, it's in the Word.
Yep.
Like
Everybody
it's
has
in the
free
Word.
will.
It's
And
free
people
will.
are
Right,
sinners.
right,
It's
right,
just
right.
free
And that's
will.
what we had to learn as a couple, not to blame God. Because I never understood when she told me she blamed God for Darian. I was just like, no, God would.
Yeah.
I was
then it
young. I
happened.
was younger. I didn't understand.
Well, no, it wasn't,
you
it
know,
wasn't the
then,
issue. It was just I didn't understand.
You
'cause
didn't
I
understand.
couldn't
You
understand
couldn't
her
see
grief.
it. Yeah, you
Right,
didn't.
right.
But then when it happened,
To
I
you-
was in it. I was like,
Yeah.
Ooh,
oh, this dude
this why
tripping.
she. Ooh,
Yeah.
He tripping.
Yeah.
Because you just elevated our whole family. And
Yeah.
then this happens.
Whole different
in the
beast.
height of it, it's like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
When God said, this is not my fault. Like, you got to know, read your word.
That's right.
Understand what's going on in
We
the
have
world.
That's
Be
big.
real.
That's
and
big.
that right there turned me over to a whole different page. I started seeing things different. I started approaching my grief different, in a way, you know, because I just didn't find a way to blame somebody. You know, I you know.
What, let me ask you this. What do you think Aniah would like if she was able to, you know, speak to y'all, even for an hour,
Right.
like my man Humes? What do you think she would like tell you guys to help you guys, you know, continue on?
I know what she'll tell this one. I know. I'm proud of you, Mama.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, our dynamic when I was trying to become a UFC fighter was I was a stay-at-home dad. She did all the work.
He spent more time with the kids than
I
I
spent,
did.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
a lot of
And-
time,
yeah.
like, because I was always at home. It was me taking them to school, feeding them. She was working. She
Yeah.
told we made that agreement. She's
Right.
like, look, if you're gonna do this, I'll do
Work
this.
and you train.
I'll work and you just train, but you got to train. Can't be at home, drinking.
You had to, yeah, right.
Go train.
Train.
Oh, there was many times I drug his butt up out of the floor and drug him to Georgia and
Right.
said, "You're going to do
You're
this."
going
and,
to
I was trying to find every excuse not to find.
and he won, knocking everybody out. I'm like,
Right.
see?
But
Right.
she was the, but Aniah was always the glue. She was
Yep.
there with me. She
Okay,
helped me
okay.
raise Ayla. She helped me
Asa.
raise Asa. She was always like my little helpmate.
Right.
Like, hey, I need a diaper. All right,
Oh,
Dad, I
I'm
got
going.
it.
Right.
She, I taught her how to change diapers.
She like, I got you, Daddy.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the voice I hear to this day. When I wanted to quit fighting, there were moments like if you're not into fighting, you may not know, but I got cut my first 2 fights in the UFC. Like I worked my whole 5-6 years to get there.
And then they cut you.
With all this hype, I lost my first 2 fights and I was cut. And I wanted to quit. And then I was like, quit? She's like, no, Dad, you'll be okay. You can do it. And I'm like, I thought I wasn't good enough. I had all these things. She's like, the one little voice, she'd sit in the room. I'd be in there playing the game. Her room used to be across from mine.
Right.
We could see each other.
We could see each other. She'll tiptoe over there. She'll come sit down and we just chat.
Right.
Yeah.
She could feel when I was going through something.
Right.
That's what I will say that's one thing that I do miss more than anything.
Right.
It's
She
like
knew.
just that, like
Y'all was in sync.
we was in sync.
Yeah.
That was my dog. Like she'll come in, when she down, I know. When
Yeah.
she know when I had a rough day, Dad, you good?
Come check on
I
you.
got you, Dad. I do this, I do that. She get the kids in line. She be snapping at them more than, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you do.
But that was why,
So what would she tell you?
she'd just be like, Dad, you got this. Like
Okay.
you worked so hard to get here. Why would you stop? And it used to blow me away for a kid her age to have that presence of mind.
Right.
Like she
right.
would just say
Mature.
that, like she was so mature. And I got a picture. I always look back to it for reference. She sent to me when I was in training camp, and it was the biggest move of my life to go, away from my family to train at this big gym with all these big time fighters.
Yeah.
And I'm a little kid from Alabama. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this. She sent me a picture of her in a
With
fight.
the Dukes up.
With the Dukes up. And I looked at that picture every day I was dying, and I was trying to take heads off every day.
Lit a fire up
It
under
lit
you.
a
Yeah.
fire in me. So
That's amazing.
that's what I lean on even to this day. Like people like, how you get in the cage? Like how you train? It's for my daughter. Like why wouldn't I run through a burning building for her?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just that's what I think,
That's what she would tell
But
you.
you know what I think she would tell me?
What's that?
It's okay.
It's okay.
You know why? Because she would have given her life willingly to save others. And I hear her say, and I did. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to share something with you. I'm not sure if I told Walt or not, because it was the night before Aniah was found. And I went we were staying in Gus Malzahn's house. They offered their house up to us.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and we were staying there. Me and my
Shout
mom
out
and my
Gus.
cousin. Yeah.
And
Christy, his wife.
Yeah, Christy.
We were staying there. It was the night before, but we were planning a search the next morning, but we were resting. And I went into a bedroom by myself, and I'm just laying there. And I heard Aniah say to me, I hear her voice, y'all. I do. I know people might think I'm crazy.
No,
No, no,
that-
no,
it
no,
is.
no,
It's
Okay.
the truth.
She
I
said,
can believe it.
she said, Mom, it's okay. And I said out loud, no, it's not, Aniah.
Like, that's my
And she
baby.
said,
You
yes,
mine.
it is. So I think Aniah would say to me, Mom, it's okay.
She good.
It's okay. And because she would have, if she would have been asked, do you want to sacrifice your life to save other people? She would have said, absolutely. So I think that's why she would say to me, it's okay.
And another thing on a side note that helps, and I think it helps her as well, she was saved.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
most
Yeah,
beautiful
she
thing.
was.
Like
Yeah.
she was in
Oh,
the church.
wow,
Like
wow.
she was big. Like
That's beautiful.
Like Church of the Highlands was a thing.
yeah.
Like
That's just like.
so that as a father from a mother who you gotta get your life right. That to me is like, all right, I know where she at. I know
That's right.
she like,
She
man,
good.
you
Right,
gotta keep it going
She
the
good.
right way so
Right.
you can get up here and see where
Yeah, she good.
so you can come up
Right.
here. Cause I'm telling you, I'm
Right.
good.
Right.
Like
Right.
you, whatever we was dealing with when I was down there, I'm
Right.
cool right now.
good.
And they got to be a piece of comfort.
Oh
like,
my God, it's so comforting. Like
You know,
I was like, man, okay, I know God got her.
Right.
That's amazing.
No, we're angry. We want to hear
Oh,
with us right now.
Oh, of course.
100%.
but that's what she would feel. I know that's what she would feel. Yeah.
My selfish side, of course, I want my daughter here to be here and experience life with us on this earth. But
Right.
at the same time, it's like we got a mission now. So
That's
it's like,
right.
We got to stick to it for her. 100%. I'm
Yeah.
going full black guns blazing.
That's
Man,
right.
look, man,
Mission and guidance. I love it.
I
love
love
it.
the enthusiasm, man. I really do. I love the energy, man.
100%.
So, guys, I want to ask you guys.
We old.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah. We did.
We
Yep,
have a
that's
lot
right.
of different segments.
We hate adding everything.
I know. All right. So, what do you guys have coming up? You have some events coming up.
Let's see. What do we have coming up?
Now, I know you had the blood drive this past weekend.
We had the blood
correct?
drive. We had 37 units, and that was
Sweet.
that was awesome. And that was in honor of Aniah and Destiny Washington, who was shot and killed on UAB campus
Right.
in 2020. So that was amazing.
Right.
We do have another blood drive coming up in Homewood. I don't know what date that's going to be yet. We're going to do another one because Homewood people that couldn't come. We're calling and asking to donate. We do have some. We do need to line up some self-defense classes. We've done a lot in the past 3
Right.
months.
That's my second
Woo!
question.
Right.
We've done a lot of classes. We went to Vegas and taught 80 8th grade girls.
Wow.
Actually, a all-female school. It's called the
Yeah.
Empowerment School. It's the
Right.
only one in
Okay.
Las Vegas.
Okay.
We had an opportunity to help them. We did a $10,000 donation to them on behalf of our nonprofit and the UFC. Big shout out to the UFC and Brian
Yes.
Smith. They've been phenomenal helping us. We still in talks to try to do something else down the road. It's gonna kind of have to take like a small detour because of the fight or what have you. But we're gonna work on some stuff centered around the fight. Of course, they're gonna do like a media rollout and all that kind of stuff, I'm sure. So I'll sit down and talk with her and everybody with the nonprofit and kind of figure out what the next move is. We may be able to slide a class in.
We've just got so many people wanting us to come to a lot of places, and we try to get those dates on the books and just keep going.
Lot of lives to change, huh?
Yeah,
That's
That's
right.
what it sound like.
That's facts.
You know,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, do you guys have any like social media or anything that people can like follow you guys and like get certain information to help out with like blood drives and stuff like that y'all may be having?
Yeah. So Aniah's Heart, we have of course a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I just created a TikTok for Aniah's Heart so I can do some safety videos.
Okay.
Haven't gotten really good with that yet. I'm just learning TikTok. So
You'll get it fast. Watch.
yeah. And we are planning on having a YouTube channel for our family. It's the
Dope.
We got it up. We just ain't. It's got 500 followers right now, though.
Oh, let me go. I need to go. I'm going to follow immediately.
We ain't even putting that on.
We're fighting family, and we're fighting for our daughter, and our son Elijah is going to be a part of that as well. And our son, he's very, very, very. That's just what's keeping him going.
Shout out to him too.
Yeah, our
man.
Son. Shout out to you, buddy.
Strength,
Oh, really?
He got it.
bro.
Yeah.
He got it.
You talking about the one that all the girls like, right?
Yeah, Elijah. No, that's it.
That's
That's
Asa.
Asa.
Okay.
That's the 16-year-old.
That's the 16-year-old. Yeah.
What you gonna do with him?
I don't know. They're all the Tarrant girls are fighting over him
Yeah.
right now.
Oh goodness.
But no, Elijah, he could have easily given up. Aniah, they were like twins. They were 17 months apart. And he took one semester off and then graduated from Auburn on August the 6th of last year.
From Harvard Business School.
Hey.
So
Shout out
he is
to
doing
him.
amazing.
Congratulations.
But his goal, his whole purpose in life is to live for his sister.
That's
And
amazing.
Aniah's Heart.
Beautiful.
So,
That's what's up.
yeah. So we have a lot of things that we want to do with Aniah's Heart
Right.
to take it further. We want a building. We want to have a building that actually you can come in and teach safety education, have counseling, things like that. We have a lot of goals.
Oh my God!
About
Speaking
it.
into existence, it's happening.
That's right.
It's
It's
happening.
coming.
Claiming
And
it.
it's good. It's good for the community too.
100%.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, I just love it.
Yeah.
I like that.
You love that you can edit. Oh, okay.
Right,
So
that's good.
hold on, because I'm doing what Miss Harris just did a few minutes ago.
You forgot what you about to say.
I call it
Because
because
I-
do that brain farts.
Brain fart.
Brain fart.
That's what it is, and that's why I'm gonna start this right there. Brain fart when I cut this in. But anyway, my man, we have something in common. I train under Peter.
Zahel?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna wait to tell you that, but yeah. That's my code man. When I found out you had worked with him,
Yeah.
him and John, some years
ago.
Yeah, years ago, and I had just got when I came on the scene, they were in Hoover.
Yep.
And we were there for like a minute, like me, Kevin, Elliot.
Yeah.
Them two guys I met the first,
Yeah, Elliot
immediately.
Carl.
Yeah. And then we end up, they end up moving. So,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that L. Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him Peter went with us on a lot of trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah.
Yep, my man Pete.
Yeah, they got Frank. Frank got a fight. You know Frank Tate,
the
don't
Tank,
you?
yeah, that my
Yeah.
brother. I've been knowing Frank since I was 14.
Man,
Me and him used to play basketball together.
I love to see y'all spar, because I spar with him, but
Man,
I love to see you
we used
spar.
to go at it.
Yeah,
We
they
had some
do.
good sessions.
He feel like a tank, man.
That's why we call him Frank the Tank. That joker hit like a Mac.
Yeah,
truck.
yeah.
Because he don't know his own strength.
Man, that
Like,
dude, but he's a good man. He a good
dude.
guy, man.
Good dude.
Good dude, man.
Good
I was talking
dude.
to him the other day. He'll be coming soon. Shout out to Frank Tank. Hey, Tate, hey man, you gonna win that fight too, dog. Knock him out. Get the win.
He's a good dude.
Right.
I love me some Frank, man.
Right. So what I want to tell you guys is I really appreciate y'all coming out. You are an inspiration. You both are to others. It's also a joy to be able to see you, and be able to have those talks and everybody just become a family.
Right.
A family environment. And just keep thinking about the positive things that you can, replace anything negative with positive. And continue to do the work that you're doing, for the people.
Motivating others and moving others.
And we want
That's
y'all,
right.
please come back. We're going to have a part 2,
This
guys.
was fun. I love this.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I
We-
can do this all day.
Exactly.
I feel like there's so much more we can talk about.
You put a
too.
camera in front of me.
You ready? I like that about you. I like that about you. So, and we also wanted to give you guys an exclusive appreciation certificate for coming to the show. You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
I
that's
love
y'all.
that.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're
This
welcome,
means
you're
so
welcome.
much to us, really.
I'm glad
Yeah.
this means
Thank
a
you
lot
for
for
giving
me.
us the opportunity to,
Right.
Right.
it's a safe space. It's dope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Dope.
Appreciate it,
It's
man.
dope.
We really appreciate it. And babe, thank you. Mom, thank you for coming through.
You're
My
welcome.
Thanks, Mom.
my mom came through, y'all, for the first time.
Might have said too much.
And me and mom having a one-on-one coming up soon. It's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
interesting. And we're gonna be talking about some of the things we talked about earlier.
That's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta come
so
back
please
and
come
see
back.
it.
Yes.
I'm
Okay,
gonna come
okay.
be a fly on the wall
Yeah.
for that one. For sure.
Right. And thank you for my light-skinned brother right here, Mr.
Yes.
Hume.
Yes,
sir. Coming
sir.
through.
Yes,
he always
sir.
come through when I hit him up.
Yes,
The blessing.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
amazing. I'm
Right.
so glad
You
that
dropped
I
some
met
jewels today too.
Yeah.
man.
Yes, Mr.
For real, for
Hill.
real.
Hey, see
I
right
love
there.
him.
For real, for real.
For sure, man.
You was over there preaching.
Right.
I thought the collection plate was finna come around. Oh,
And then the wine, baby. We got that out, man.
We just need the crackers.
Right. So, Hughes, we appreciate it, man. And make sure you guys tune into the Our Show.
Our
And
Show.
how can they follow you again?
You can find me on TikTok.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay. And what are we looking for? What's your name on there?
OZZZ.
OZZZ.
Three
Okay.
Z's.
We'll be following. We'll be
For
following.
sure.
Yep.
Right. And, guys, make sure you keep it locked with the Irish Wood Show podcast. I'm your host, Kimbo the Counselor. Make sure that you always remember that we keep it influential and organic. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Email us at theirishwolfshow@gmail.com. And the only way we're going is up.
Okay. All right. I like it. Great job.
That was awesome.
That was fire. That was fire.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I thank y'all. I mean,
That was dope.
that was dope. I feel chills.
I appreciate y'all for letting me crash. I wasn't even supposed to be. I was up
Hey,
there
you
for more.
fine. I just got a
I
chip
was
for
up
you.
there for moral support.
I said, shit, I got a chip for you. Hey, come on.
I was up there. Hey, I was trying to come support her more. Give some moral support.
All right, put you on the camera.
Hey, you soon as you said, hey, you want to say less. I told you, I love a camera, man. Hey.
Man, look, man. Listen, I am so serious because I'm gonna have like certain, like conversations and discussions with groups of people. You hear what I'm saying? And I would love for y'all to come back.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
100%.
like seriously.
Please come when I do my set.
Oh, I will.
Oh, you already know I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, I think I'm grateful for this because it's very therapeutic.
I'm so glad you
Just
said that, man.
being able to, like,
It is.
it's rare you can find a space where you just, like, I've done a million interviews and I've
I
never
know y'all
felt this
have,
comfortable.
man.
No, it's not even just that. It's just in general.
Right.
Like, I've never felt this comfortable in a space. Like, where you could just, like, man, like, I know you forever is how I felt. It's like,
Oh man.
I know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that,
That's
but,
how I felt when I met her.
but that's what we want.
Connection.
But that's a compliment to your journalism ability, if that makes sense. Because I've been around with people who do this, and it's like, I'm guarded. It's like, I didn't feel that here. You know what I mean? And this wasn't about me. But you had me so comfortable. I was like, shoot, I want to talk. I want to say something. Can I talk? But that's a gift. But in all seriousness, that's a gift. You know what I mean? Like that is, I believe, truly a gift. You know, God give certain people gifts to like give people a way to unload. Right. You deal with a lot yourself, but the ability to be able to minimize yourself and allow somebody to unload is something. Don't ever lose that, because you gonna grow from this. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. The places God gonna take you, it's gonna be times where you like, whoa, I didn't realize all this was going on. Stay true to you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's special. Like, bro,
I work with you every day.
She just told me, she was like, hey, I got to do a podcast. Really? And I'm like, okay, bet. She's like, you can come. You want to come up there with me? I said, yeah, I'll come and support you.
I hope you came on.
But bro, it like honestly, like I've done podcasts, I've done interviews, I've done sit downs in my own home, and I felt like, whoa. I don't know. Yeah, I shouldn't say this, or I should like. It felt organic, like the words you just said, organic.
Oh
it
man,
felt natural. It felt real.
It's awesome.
Mom helped that too, because she reminded me of my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like perfect. It was like it just make you feel like, you know, I can release the pain I feel. You know, I've been having a rough day today from training. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, he was in a bad mood on the way up here.
But some was like on the way home. Some was like, get your shower, go with her.
Right.
Go with her, because you need it.
Right.
These moments like this can help you make it another day.
Right.
I truly believe that. It's the people God put in front of you. Sometimes you just gotta open your eyes and see it. And you know, that's just how I view life.
All right, preacher.